Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to High Top Sports Live. So we're gonna go over a couple things today, just like in the thumbnail. We're gonna go over this is gonna be our Friday live show. We're gonna go over Duck losing some talent. So Oregon has lost a couple of players in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna tell you why it's not that big a deal. I think it's gonna be fine. We follow Oregon quite a bit. So after that, we're going to talk about this unreal UGA class. So I was breaking down some film for UGA like I always do on the recruiting channel. And my goodness, this might be the best four players that I have ever seen on film in the last 2 years I've been doing this. And then we're going to talk about LSU getting another elite wide receiver. I mean, they got the quarterback in Bryce Underwood, and then they are just stacking with wide receiver class. They're like number 3 or number 4. We're going to check that out. But if you're in here, go ahead and comment, like, subscribe as always, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So, Oregon losing some talent. Had a couple of flips. Isaiah Moses, I'm not as concerned with this one. His dad ended up getting a job at the University of Nebraska. Obviously, they got the quarterback there that everybody is talking about. He kind of looks like Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be the second coming of Jesus, I guess, and get the Huskers back on the map. And then we have Deshaun Brame. He decommitted. This one was a little more concerning because his commitment wasn't very long. I mean, within a couple of weeks, we literally broke him down on the Oregon channel, and then all of a sudden, bam, and he's gone. He's headed to Tennessee. Tennessee is doing some very interesting things in the on the offensive side of the ball. As always, they got a killer class, and it feels like that. Josh Heupel's just adding to that regime of players that he has. Obviously, they have Nico, which is a very big name. So we will go ahead and we're gonna we'll keep an eye on Tennessee. They're recruiting extremely well, and Brame was a very, very highly touted tight end out of Kansas. Now, tight ends don't always pan out right away. It's probably the one position you can lose at and be okay, because it seems like it takes a very, very long time for those guys to develop. And then, it's one of those things where obviously losing the wide receiver, listen, they can go ahead and they can go get another one. Oregon is not shy of talent. They did just get 2 big commits the other day. They got the 2026 quarterback, and then they got McNutt, the safety, 5-star. So they are still on a burner. It's not that big of a deal for them. They'll circle the wagon around, and they will find somebody else, wide receiver wise. If you do like the Oregon content, go ahead and check out High Top Sports Oregon. Great show. Me, Shelton, and Derek the Duck. We go ahead and get nasty on that thing. It's a great show. Now let's go ahead. Well, let's talk about UGA. What they are bringing in defensively, guys. I'm just gonna tell you. Whoo boy. These 4 players are probably the best 4 players I have ever seen, let alone on one team. I mean, they just pop off the film. They're absolutely incredible. Zayden Walker, both of his brothers are one is at Auburn. The other one is committed to South Carolina, I believe. And so it's one of those things where these kids are, obviously genetically they have the gift. They got 3 kids in the SEC. Obviously, Walker's going to Georgia. He is a 5-star, number 2 linebacker, 11 in the nation, and he is absolutely talented. Can run the ball. They use him multiple ways. And he is a prototypical Georgia linebacker. He's a guy that can literally just fly around the field. They could play a light box like they want to, and he hits. He's a thumper. Extremely smart player. Reads screens extremely well. Flare passes. Can cover tight ends. Can cover wide receivers in the slot. The guy's got speed for days, and he is a sure tackler. So kind of concerning for the SEC and everybody else that they're getting kids like this. Then we're going to go to Isaiah Gibson. This kid's out of Warner Robin. Warner Robin has just put out absolute incredible talent left and right. He is a 5-star, number 1 edge in the nation, 17 nationally, 6'4", 245. He's extremely polished, and he's a guy that that can literally, come off the edge. He's got 2 or 3 pass rushing moves. I saw him. He got stumped by a bull rush. He switched to a secondary move, inside rip move, and end up getting the sack. So kid is very explosive off the edge. They kind of move him inside and out in high school. I don't think he's going to be there. He's not going to be an inside guy at the next level. Definitely going to be a great pass rusher, though, especially once he gets into the Oregon Strength and Conditioning program. And you know how they pump out elite defensive talent in the NFL every single year. Now, I know that UGA has that's been a little bit of a weakness, just a tick, is that interior defensive line and kind of their edge rushers. They've lost some guys to transfer portal. They have had some guys get hurt, and it's just kind of, last year was just not perfect, University of Georgia defense like what we thought it was going to be. But with these guys coming in, boy, oh boy, it's absolutely incredible. And then we're going to talk about Darren. Inky is what I call him. Darren is absolutely incredible on the inside. Good, powerful. What I like about him is he is a run-stopping machine. He will play at 6'5", 251 right now. He will play inside at the next level. He does not have the extreme motors of what Isaiah Gibson has. But I'll say this, the kid is absolutely incredible when it comes to run-stopping, reading plays, and just gobbling up running backs in the backfield. Can use a bull rush to get to the quarterback, push that pressure in the quarterback's lap, which everybody knows that's the toughest part. But a kid that's gonna maybe not be a day one impact guy, but a kid, year 2, year 3, he's gonna be on some watch list for sure. And a guy that I'm gonna definitely be watching on that Georgia defense. And then we got the cornerback. We got Mr. Earls. Now he's got a lot of he plays a lot of two-way football. He plays on the wide receiver. He's absolutely electric there. He's electric in the punt and kickoff return, and he is great, absolutely great in the as a cornerback. Obviously, with him being number 8 cornerback out of Virginia, he's out of that area where they just breed talent. Michael Vick was from there. It's just. Virginia is no slouch when it comes to athletes, and that's exactly what he is. He's an athlete. I didn't get to see a bunch of defensive stuff on his junior film. I'm gonna assume with they haven't with 247 having him as a cornerback that he will play more of that on the senior film. But super electric. These 4 kids are 4 pillars of what Georgia is great at on defense. They're always good on the inside interior line. They're always good on the edges. And then they always have pretty fast DBs. And these kids are absolutely something else. I mean, it's absolutely incredible with what they're bringing in. They really just pop off the page when you're watching their film. I mean, I was almost speechless. It's truly incredible with what they are bringing in. And they have some offensive weapons coming in, but I broke down their defense. I'm going to drop a video on that on their defensive video. That should be dropping tomorrow. So super excited for that. And then let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about LSU, what they're bringing in. So LSU adds yet another wide receiver. They are actually 4th nationally. Let's go ahead. We're going to actually cruise through their class real fast. Let me pull it up. But they, they're recruiting at a pretty good level here. Let me pull it up. Let's see if you guys can see that. So obviously they got Bryce Underwood, quarterback. He's the number 1 player nationally, 5-star. They end up getting DJ Pickett. He's a cornerback. But they have They got Derek Meadows, elite wide receiver, 5-star. They got Harlem Berry, another running back that is very, very good. JT Lindsay, another great running back. I mean, we're getting down the list, and they're only at one. Nationally they're 151. Teron Francis out of New Orleans. Keeping a lot of these kids are from Louisiana, keeping the in-state talent home. They do the best at that, probably better than anybody else. I would say Alabama used to, but now with Auburn going on the tear they are, I'm going to say LSU probably keeps in-state talent the best. Then we got Philip Wright the third. They just signed him, and this kid, I'm telling you, kid is an absolute burner. He's incredible when it comes to that quick twitch movement and just a absolute track star. Runs like a 4.34 40. He does run track in high school, and he is a kid that can really take the top off in the slot where they have been very dangerous as their slot receivers. Those guys have been very incredible, going back to Justin Jefferson and some other kids. So it seems like wide receiver, when it comes to New Orleans or Louisiana wide receivers, they're always good, and they go ahead and they get another one. And he's another burner, and it's going to be one of those things where we always, scratch our head and we ask, why does LSU always have great wide receivers? Well, because they have them in state and they keep them home, and that's another thing that I kind of wanted to get into a little bit as an extra, is keeping these kids in state and home. I know it's tough, but it seems like to me the more that you try to reach across and branch out, it's harder to get those guys to come. Oregon's kind of trying to do that right now with the Midwest ties going into the Big Ten, but it's really hard to keep those guys home. With LSU, why even go to Texas? Why even go somewhere else when you have some of the best players, wide receiver wise, right there? If you got all the fruit, why go to a different store when you got great fruit there? So they do a very, very good job, and they are the premier. They are the premier school in Louisiana. So it's one of those things where it's boy, they are good. Sorry about that. Had to let the dog out. But these guys are absolutely incredible. So we're gonna start doing this. This is our little Friday show. Go ahead and comment. Horns down from Chicken. How are you, Chicken? Now that we'll just go ahead and just get into the regular BS now that we got some people commenting. Chicken, I'll tell you. Yeah, it is a classic graphic, high top. Boy, I tell you, the Oklahoma doing very, very good job. They are. Let's see where they are. They're way up there. Let's see. They're 11th, and you know what? They got a very good class too. They got some kids that I'm super, super excited about on the offensive side of the ball. Elijah Thomas, I really like that kid. Cortez Mills, very, very good, out of Florida. Marcus Harris, Torrey Blaylock. You guys definitely got some offensive weapons. But I'm gonna tell you this. This is probably a class. It seems like the offensive weapons are pretty thick. You can go get some very good wide receivers, all and up and down the ranking board. But it seems like that the defensive kids are a little bit thinner. The premium ones are very, very good, and there's still a lot of 5-stars, or top talent that is still left to sign. It seems like that they keep pushing this back. The bigger whales keep pushing it back. And I don't necessarily know that just because they commit today, obviously, that they will be there on signing day. And heck, we've even seen not on signing day that those kids can sometimes go. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna shout out our sponsor real fast. Bet Us. Super excited to have them.
Ladies and gents, it's football time, which also means it's betting time. Whether betting lines, over-unders, right? Pick'ems, what have you. The best place to do it is a link in the description at BetUS. And for your first 3 deposits, you get back 125% up to $2,000. They're actually just giving money away. And I'm telling you right now, their lines are incredible for everyone to win. They've got overs and unders that are making me scratch my head going, are they sure they want to do this? 4.5 on Florida. They got 10.5 on Oregon. Fantastic stuff. You guys want to be sure to check that thing out. So link is in the description. Let's get back to the content here. And be sure to like and subscribe too if you can.
Yeah, shout out to Bet Us. They're in the description. Yeah, chicken for sure. I think BV's a great coach. I think he's a guy that can definitely bring in the defensive talent for sure. It's good that he is bringing in offensive talent. I'm super excited to see what the power line does this year. I think they're going to do incredible things. I think that Jaden Jackson's a guy that I really really like out of that last class. That kid's from IMG. Obviously, everybody knows Stoney. Stoney's very, very good, but Jaden Jackson just does something to me. I mean, I tell you, he pops off the page in his film. It's one of those things where I think that he is going to be a very pivotal piece. I know that they're pretty thick on the defensive line, but I think there's going to be some freshmen that are, if you're out on that Oklahoma Sooner defensive line, and I'm an older cat, I'm definitely looking over my back because they are recruiting at a incredible level. And they seem like that they can not only get the kids, but they can grab the kids and retain the kids. And that's really big. We talked about it. Oregon has lost a couple kids. Not that I'm really big on thinking the fact that that a lot of kids are going to leave Oregon, but I think that it is hard to keep these kids, especially with NIL and everything else. Let's see, chicken. Let's see what you say. All the Florida and Oklahoma haters keep in receipts. Jackson has the poly strength. Yes, he does. So Danny Oak is tearing up fall camp. Good to know. The only question I had with Danny Oak was, number one, I didn't think he read like the screenplays very well. I feel like he kind of got burnt on those a little bit when I was watching his film, and the talent level that he was playing like in a homeschool league. I just wasn't sure how great the talent was. Probably not very good, but I'm glad he's tearing it up. It's one of those things where, Saban wanted him, obviously. So he's a guy that is, and he was highly touted. What bothered me was the homeschool league. Not that I wasn't high on him. I just wasn't sure. It was one of those things where you kind of got to figure out if a guy is a guy when he gets there. And obviously have the measurables and the tools. So they'll get them all whipped into shape. But yeah, Jaden Jackson and Stoney were my two favorite for sure. Offensively, I'm trying to think. Last year, let me just glance back at that last year class real fast. See what you guys brought in, true freshman wise. This is the extra part of the show. Taylor Tatum, good running back. Oh, Zion Kearney, love that kid out of Texas. Let's see, offensively. You got 6'6" Ivan Carry-On. I was wondering if he was going to be a tight end. Zion Reagans, that was another good one. Yeah, you guys got a couple of good kids on the offensive side of the ball. Also too, that I really liked out of that freshman class. If I were to say that there's a kid to make a splash, Taylor Tatum probably. I mean, he was the number one in his position, 48 ranked nationally, almost a 5-star. I know that the running back room is good, but as good as that kid is, you got to let him in on some of the blowouts. You guys don't really play anybody for the first 4 games, I don't think, 4 or 5 games. So You might as well just save your running backs and feed the freshmen, and let them get some game experience and take some of the blow and keep the legs fresh in that running back room, because it gets nasty on the back half of that schedule, as we know, chicken, for sure. Um, we're gonna wrap this up here in about 10 minutes. But if you guys got any questions, go ahead, put them in. Remember last year, everyone said our wide receiver was a concern, and yes, Tatum is Mixon like in his skill. Yeah, that's kind of who he reminds me of. Um, is Mixon for sure? His pro comp. You know, I mean, you guys don't really play anybody like the first 4 games. You might as well just feed the rock to Tatum and let him, unless you're trying to redshirt him, which I don't think you really need to. You know, keep Sawchuck and them on the, as light load as you can. And I think, as we talk about that defensive line, I think you roll 4 freshmen out, later in the game and let them get a blow. Just do Stoney, Okanoa. You got another kid. I can't remember his name. He's like from Michigan. That I like. He's a lunch pail type of kid. And Jaden Jackson, you just let them roll like the first couple games, and keep your defensive linemen healthy too, because when you get in the back half of that schedule, it's going to be an absolute gauntlet. You might as well play Wilburn. Yes, you might as well play the younger kids when you're up, and because things happen on the offensive defensive line. Guys get stepped on, guys get rolled on, guys, tweak an ankle, a knee. You don't want that going into your hard schedule at the back half. You might as well just roll the freshmen out, and maybe some of the guys that you have from the freshmen the year before, your sophomore guys that aren't key pivotal impact players on the defensive line. Roll those guys out. I mean, why not? Why not do it? That's what I would do. Keep the legs fresh on the running backs and the wide receivers and the everybody that doesn't not named a quarterback. And obviously you're not trying to lose games, but if you get up 2-3 touchdowns, there's no reason why not to put some young talent in. That's what I would do. Keep those guys fresh. Any other questions real fast before we wrap this thing up? We're going to wrap this thing up about 8 o'clock. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. We're just kind of doing that after our report, after we went through the 3 main topics. We're talking a little OU football this year, or right now, not this year. It's also going to be interesting, I think, when Oklahoma gets into SEC play, just the gauntlet of it. You're going to have a freshman here or there step up. Jackson Arnold's a quiet baker, you think? Maybe, for sure. You guys got the other good. Oh. You guys got another quarterback that's good. Let me see. What's his name? What's that kid's name? I'm drawing a blank. His dad's an NFL player. Hawkins. Yeah, Hawkins. For sure. Yeah, Hawkins can spin it. Why not let him get in a little bit? Yeah. Why not let him get in a little bit and see what he can do? Why not? I mean, listen, the schedule is I keep saying it's pretty cupcake. It's really cupcake up until I think maybe Texas. Let me see. Let's see. Temple, Houston, Tulane, and then Tennessee. Temple, Houston, Tulane, Tennessee. Tulane lost their coach too. Fritz went to Houston. That might have been that Houston team might be a little bit better, but there's no reason why you can't get up and play some of these guys early. For sure. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will see you later. I'm Cody the Professor with High Top Sports Recruiting. Thanks for hanging out. Who has the SEC longest home sellout? Probably LSU? A&M, maybe? I don't know. Not sure, chicken. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And we will see you later. Thanks for everybody for joining us today. Putting comments in there helps with the extracurricular activities after we get through the main topics. And we will see you later.